Hi, I'm Kate Ashton, and you're here with us today at Art on 30th, and I'm going to be interviewing a marvelous artist, Barb Inbody. And Barb, thanks for taking some time to hang out with us today. I'm excited. You know, I don't think I know how long you've been painting.
Well, I think I started painting when I was in my 40s, and I had gone to Santa Fe, and I realized that it was the best and the worst art I'd ever seen, and I thought, I think I can do that. So I registered for Art 101 at the local college, and that's how I started.
Wow.
I know, crazy.
All at Santa Fe?
Yeah, all because of Santa Fe.
So is that when you knew, I want to be an artist?
I always knew that I was creative, but I really decided that painting was going to be my outlet. It was going to be the thing that was going to make me feel wonderful, and it does. It really does.
You know, there's always a day, I know I had my day, when I went from wanting to be an artist to saying, I am an artist. When was that for you?
Oh gosh, I don't know that that happened for quite a while. I think that I became a serious artist when I decided that contemporary art was where I wanted to go. It seemed like when I was oil painting and doing plein air and still life, there was a lot more control needed and less expression of who I am. And I think when I got into art here, contemporary art, I realized I could and there was no right answer. There was no right or wrong. You could just do whatever you wanted, and I think for me that gave me the freedom I needed. So
you spent a lot of time in realism, didn't you?
Yes, I really enjoyed realism, and I think that I was good at it, but probably not great at it. I had some periods of time where I feel like I was great, but I never felt as the ability to express myself, and I think that contemporary art gave me that.
Well, you know, I'll never forget one day I was saying, loosen up on the circles, and you go, Kate, do you know how many years it took me to get perfect with a circle? And I go, oh.
Yeah, and it's true, because there are certain things that you have to get better at, and the repetition of things was just, one of those things, and it was hard to just give that all up and say, do whatever you want. Sizes and shapes don't matter.
Yeah, you gave me a look. You gave me a look.
No, I did.
But you're there now.
Yes, thank you.
So abstract art is what gives you the capacity to really express.
It does, and I feel like sometimes I limit my color choices, but I think even with a limited palette, I still can express a feeling that I could never express when I was trying to do realism, and it's so much more fun.
And I'm glad you mentioned limited palette, because I wanted to talk about that. You've got a very identifiable palette.
Yes, I do.
The pink is a little unexpected here, but
totally.
The rest is very, what would I call it? Kind of neutral, kind of natural, kind of gritty, kind of urban. What's that like for you?
Well, I don't know why it happens, but I can put together colors and I end up coming up with the same sort of colors, only in variation. So I do it, and I don't know why. Somebody said to me, are you just sad because you use these neutral colors? And I said, no, in fact, this one over behind you made me so happy, and it's got, sawdust and grit in it, but
it's got coffee grounds too.
Yeah, coffee grounds. Yeah. But I loved it. And it to me it has a whole array of a storyline in it that you wouldn't get if I'd used color. So
since we're talking about that, talk about this piece for a little bit, because I know you were inspired by an artist in Germany.
Yes.
And you really went for it. Talk about that with us.
Her name is Inez Hilder, and I loved her stuff from the very beginning, and I kept trying to figure out how she did it, and it didn't seem like it should be that hard. And only it is hard, because she does all kinds of layers. So I was in contact with her, and she doesn't do anything in English, and it was kind of a pain, but I finally figured out how she did it, and she uses marble dust, and ash from the fireplace, and coffee grounds to give earthy colors, and she does layer upon layer. So even though that looks like it's kind of a simple painting, it requires many levels. You got to let it dry, try something else. And the part that's cool about it is you can do it, and then if you don't like it, you just change it and do something else. So, and the number of times over kind of makes it a more exciting painting.
Now, I got a chance to kind of watch you do this. No brush.
No brush.
And nothing from the art store, really.
No, nothing from the art store.
Amazing.
So, but it really is fun. It's like, it's a fun, creative thing that you can then use in other pieces of art where you drip and you create, you know, in your own little mind, you're creating all kinds of fun things to do.
Yes, you are. And you shared this with other people, haven't you? I think you teach a class in it.
I do teach a class in it, and people are so fascinated by it, and also love this same artist and have never figured it out. And it takes a little time and effort to pick it apart.
I remember that. Yeah, you dove in.
I really did. I wanted to know.
You weren't going to give up, Barb.
No, I wanted to know.
She is not going to give up till she gets it.
No.
And you did. You got it. I think it's a stunning piece.
Oh, thank you.
And people that look at it are kind of mesmerized by how did she do it.
I know it takes a little time, but this one I just really enjoyed doing, and I would love to go to Germany and meet this gal. She doesn't speak English, and nobody on her staff speaks. And you know, there's definitely a communication problem, but Kirsten has helped me read some of the stuff that she has said back to me, so it's been kind of cool.
Yeah. Kirsten, who speaks German and is from Germany.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I come in and you're painting over something, and I'm like, how do you decide what to paint over?
Well, I think I'd live with a painting for a little while, and if it still excites me and I think it's wonderful, I go for it again. If it's not exciting and I don't love it, and it doesn't seem to ring true to me, painting over it just gives it a nice history. I found lately that I've written things underneath paintings of how I'm feeling that day, and paint over it, and then that painting has a little bit of my heart in it, but nobody would know because I've painted over it. So I don't know, painting over a painting gives it history. It gives it a little more gravitas, and it's more fun.
It gives it some soul.
Yeah.
It gives it some soul that you can feel. A good artist gets that soul in there.
Yes.
And you may not be able to articulate it,
but it's
you
there.
Feel it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
You feel it. Now, this is a crazy question, but I'm going to ask it. Do you ever rate your art and go, this one's a great piece, not this one's mediocre, but this one? Do you ever do that? I know some artists do.
No, because I did it at first, and then I was very upset if somebody didn't like something I did, or if a friend would go, well, you know, why don't you put some color in it? And I decided that I now do it for myself. If others like it, great. If they don't like it, I get a fuller garage, and it works out fine for me. So I just have to really love it, and it doesn't matter if other people don't. And so I'm not critical of myself anymore. I used to be.
That's big. That's huge.
I know, I'm not.
That's huge.
I'm totally willing, if I don't like it, to just paint over it.